Dear students, today is a happy day because here at Eurasian National University, and most importantly, Faculty of International Relations, we do have a wonderful chance to understand international relations from the first hand. I personally just returned from Jordan, where the initial plan was to go to Palestine at a conference, Jerusalem, capital of Palestine, where Israeli authorities closed the bridge which is connecting Jordan and Palestine just at the moment when the delegates got on their final flight to Jordan. So we just couldn't reject the fact that we are going. We were on the plane, but we came with no documents. That was a very, very interesting experience for a specialist in international relations. And of course, the other very important thing is that it is, of course, not possible to understand international relations and world politics without understanding Middle East. On a very, on relatively not a big land, so many different interests are opposing each other. They're making new ways, and it is influences this way or another a whole world. Let me tell you, it might be sounding quite personal, but I am still very pained for the thing which is happening on the Middle East, in Palestine. I was actually meeting with the president of the University Al-Quds at the moment when Professor Dr. Imad Abu Kishek said, you know what, just 2 minutes ago, Trump announced on his Twitter that at night at 2, he will be bombing Syria. So I actually came with the thought that the students of international relations, they do have to fight for the peace. They do have to understand this world to make this world more beautiful. And very fortunately, yesterday when it was my first day in office, I came to office, our international office said that the Institute for Strategic Research, Istishariya, and Dr. Imad Rizk will be delivering a lecture on the things which is happening on Middle East and Syria especially. So dear students, please, let us greet Dr. Imad Rizk, the Director General of the Istishariya, General Michael Nahas, the head of the Strategic Center of Strategic Studies, and Mr. Henry Bousab, and of course, our great friend, His Excellency Ambassador Montasser Abu Zaid. And before Dr. Imad Rizk will start his lecture, His Excellency asked for a couple of minutes to deliver a very short message.
Thank you. Good people like you, I cannot speak when I am sitting. So really, first of all, I would like to welcome again the Lebanese delegation who came from Lebanon to explain to all of you their experiences. It's very important for all of you as the students of international relations. So I would like to say one thing concerning the great lady who really accepted the invitation to participate with the International Islamic Conference in city Ramallah concerning Jerusalem as the East Jerusalem as the capital of state of Palestine, concerning the UN resolution number 242 and 181. Everything we say concerning the international international legitimacy and UN resolutions. So Mrs. Akbota, the Dean of International Relations College in this university, she is a great and brave lady. She faced a lot of difficulties. The Israeli canceled her permission in computer to not allow her just to go to participate in this conference. She continued and she participated with the conference through the video conference with many from different friendly countries, from many delegations, and they participate and they have speech and etc. So look, as this is Palestinian dress, and next. She was not alone, also with another delegations represented Kazakhstan and her colleague, Mrs. Renata, the head of International Relations Department in Kazgu University. She could reach Palestine through Tel Aviv, but when she came back, they put Israeli authority, they put her under investigation, and they were not, they are doing something very bad concerning the ladies, concerning the human rights, and etc. And she wrote in her Facebook and the press. So this is just examples to say what's the Israeli occupation they are doing in Palestine. When we are asking peace, we are talking to the international community. We respect the UN resolutions. The golden key for peace is just implementation of UN resolution, Security Council, and General Assembly concerning Arab-Israeli conflict. Till this now, Lebanese territory under occupation, Mazar al-Shab'a. Till now, Syrian territories under occupation, Al-Julan. Till now, Palestinian territory under occupation. And there is UN resolution, Security Council, 242. Withdraw all Israeli forces from all Arab territories which they occupied in 1967. Till now, Israel refused to implement these resolutions. So I don't want to occupy it all the time. Mrs. Akbota, what can I do for you? You are really the friend of Palestine and the friend of Arab countries and the friend of the justice. So I would like, on behalf of Palestine, to... This is for you. Please. The Palestinian people and Palestinian leadership appreciate your efforts as a good example from our friendly Kazakhstan, and really we appreciate the principal positions of the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Nur Sultan Nazarbayev, always supporting justice, supporting peace, and voting for all UN resolutions, Security Council, and General Assembly concerning Arab-Israeli conflict since 1947 till now. So we thank President of the country, the government, and the lovely people in Kazakhstan.
But see how many fighters for peace are here.
Yes, of course. If the boss fighting, the students will follow, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And before we give the floor to Dr. Imad, let me very briefly introduce people who are here. On my right side is Dr. Talalawat. He is top manager of Eurasian National University, director of the center, and he is from Syria. Just next to him is Dr. Ajıgat. He is the chair of Eastern Studies Department. who were actually in charge of organizing this meeting, and they are very active. Next to him is Dr. Ayman. She is the chair of International Relations Department, a constant supporter of everything which is happening on this faculty. Next to him is Dr. Puneet Gaur. He's from India. He's teaching at the Department of Regional Studies, another department of our faculty. And next are the professors of the Department of Eastern Studies, Dr. Bibu Khadisha, and our other professors. You will meet them in person. If we say to the opposite side, let me introduce you Dr. Bakhat Rustemov, who is probably one of the most beloved Kazakhstani periodistas and writers. He actually just recently translated Ayatollah Khamenei's work. He is the one who translated Gina's works and Fidel Castro, and so on and so on. So if Your Excellency, will need something to be translated, he will do it in such a beautiful way. Next to Dr. Bakhat is our beloved Dr. Ashraf Attia, who is from Egypt, and he's teaching at the Eurasian National University for 8 years now. So you will see the professionalism, the language proficiency of our students in Arabic, and it is mostly his very difficult job. And there you can see our students. Now all the floor is yours, Dr. Imad.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the university, the center, and everyone who had work for this visit, to be here together as a colleague, as a friend, and also as a persons who work for peace, for dialogue, and to have together, to think together how we can work to solve problem, or at least to make the problem not to be so difficult like what we can see now in Middle East, and especially near to Lebanon and Syria and Palestine, and also in Iraq, in Yemen, in Libya. We can see all our region as Middle East, as Arab country now, as also if we can talk about Middle Asia, maybe we can see a lot of problems, but not on spot. So I'm so happy with my friends, General Michel Nahas, Mr. Henry Boussab, to be here, to come from Lebanon for the first time to Kazakhstan, and to talk about our region, Middle East, but also to share our idea and to discuss together. So my speech will not be, it will be concentrated, and I'm so happy to hear from you, your questions, and I'm ready to discuss or to have some answer. Maybe the discussion, it will be more effective because we can share our ideas together. So I will start from what happened yesterday, or what happened before 2 or 3 days. I'm talking about the attack in Syria coming from 3 countries, from the British, American, and France. So against a state that they have a government independence under the international law. So when we start from this position, when we look to what happened in Iraq from 2003, after the American entered to Baghdad, or when we look to what happened in Afghanistan, related to the infrastructure, related to the peace, related to the counter-terrorism, if we look what happened now in Yemen before 4 years till now, also, it's not under United Nations law or, let's say, after the Second War, everybody knows, and you know about the law, the international law, that any attack from any country against any state, it's like war. So when we see that the Saudi make this attack against Yemen, I don't care about who is on the right side, but we care about people, we care about sovereignty, about the independence of the state, because if anyone can do anything, it means there is no law. It means in the future, nobody can talk about peace, reconciliation, development, or we cannot talk about humanity. So this is, if I can say, what we talk about maybe more than 15 years about terrorism and the relation between terrorism and the Islam, and after the Islamophobia. If we return 35 years before, it was also related with an like ideology. It means the communism was related with the terrorism against the capitalism. So if we look inside the unipole, the US policy toward especially Middle East or toward all the countries, we can see that we have to talk about a new system. We have to talk about, maybe if we talk about multipolar system, if we talk about a new system, that we cannot talk about aggressivity in the international law. So maybe diplomacy can solve a lot of problem. Maybe dialogue can solve the problem. But why to use war? Why to use, let's say, the investment or the infrastructure of military equipment just to benefits, to make money and to destroy, and after to reconstruct, also to invest, and after maybe to use war for some companies overseas. So now business start to be the most important complicated things inside the international relations between countries, between peoples. Everybody is searching money, but nobody is searching dialogue, culture, and humanity. This is, if I can say, the most important things related to what we can see in the Middle East. Because now in the Middle East, everybody talk about, if I can say, the problem in Syria. And sometimes I hear that the war in Syria, it's a civil war. And when I hear this, I remember Lebanon from 75 to 90. It was also, all the media was saying it was a civil war. But I can't believe, I was young, but I can see that it was a civil war. It was financed, and it was like a Cold War inside our land. It means what we can see now in Syria, or what we see in Iraq every day. And yesterday it was an attack related also with an extremism named Daesh against army. So till now, everybody talk about extremism, talk about the radicalism, Daesh, and sometimes we change names. But the ideology or the manipulation of the Islam, if I can say, to be honest, it's a political issues. It's an economic issues. So what we see in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria now, related with different organization names, because in Syria now, everybody is talking about a war, but nobody, if we go inside this war, more than 2,000 name of organization working inside with different ideology, with different potential. But all this organization, they change their name just related to the finance, who support, who finance this organization. So I can't say this country is financing this organization. We can say that this organization till now still financed by this, because nobody knows after who will be. It means it's like a business. Okay, so what you can see now in Middle East, it's a kind of business of share of overseas companies like Blackwater. So everybody knows, everybody hears about Blackwaters, but you have to know that there is hundreds like Blackwaters with different name. So this is the real terrorism in the world. This is the real problem in Middle East, related with business, related, somebody say it's related also with pipelines, gas and oil, resources, but I cannot say just for this purpose, because also we have the positioning of Middle East between three continents, Asia, Africa, and Europe. So we have also the power of the business, the trade. If you look to what happened in Somalia, or what happened now, last 2 years, 3 years in Yemen, why they cut the road in 21st century? You can see that a ship coming from China passing by this near between Djibouti and Yemen, and you can see that it was stopped, captured, and everybody is talking about money. Who is behind this? It means it's a business, just to cut 65% of the business of Chinese, of trade, of development inside their investment inside the world, to Europe, to Africa. So it's a kind of proxy, it's a kind of proxy war. So what we see now in Syria, it's a real proxy war. What we see in Iraq, it's a real proxy war. Between who? Between the big power. So for that, I think that what happened before few years at the process of Astana related with the nuclear negotiation, it means when the president Nazarbayev proposed as Astana as a panel of dialogue, of negotiation, of peace related to the 5+1, and after we have a resolution to this, let's say resolution till now, because now we have also a problem with this discussion related to the nuclear negotiation with Iran. So it was a good idea to put Kazakhstan, and especially to put the capital Astana inside, if I can say, all this conflict in the world, but also to say that there is a land, there is a place for dialogue, because nobody can continue supporting war. We have the same problem inside all the country in Middle East. It's related with business. But we have to know that most important things in the Middle East is Israel. Why? Because everybody is talking now about terrorism, counter-terrorism, crisis inside the Arab country, the uprising, or if I can say the Arab Spring, because it's not an Arab Spring, it's an uprising, but also it's not revolution. It's related with what? Which ideology? For what purpose? But also, if we return to 94, it was the color revolution also. They start from Ukraine to Kyrgyzia, also to Lebanon. It was civil revolution. But it was also a conflict between the French and the American inside this civil revolution. It means between the big power and the West, we cannot talk about one way. There is different way. It means different opportunities to get the power or to manage their power inside the regions like Middle East. So for that, Israel now, if we return to the center of the problem, if we return to 1920 and after till 1948, when it means when the Jews start to arrive to Palestine to change and to contribute with the British and with the France to change and to moderate the demography inside the Palestine, to influence the people, and after to make a business, to change cities, make business, and after to arrive as official for this, what you can, everybody knows as Israel, but in reality it's Palestine. So, and everybody, if you look in the history, it wasn't the target. The Jews was searching a state, yes, but it was proposed to be maybe in Argentina, maybe in another place. It wasn't Palestine, but they used the ideology just to cover their purpose. It means it was a purpose related with the national security for the US and also related for business to make a state inside the Middle East. So now most of the problem, who is behind the shadow of all the war in Middle East? If we look inside, there is Israel. So from this background, I return to what happened yesterday in Syria. What happened in Syria from 7 years till now, everybody is focusing on counterterrorism, is focusing on the war inside Syria, but nobody is focused on a lot of attack made by Israeli airplane or missile targeting the capital, cities, military, and also people. So more than 20 to 21 attack till now, big attack. I'm not talking about just an attack targeting one person. We are talking about big attack. So what happened yesterday, it's also, or today morning, it's also an implication of the Israeli inside the Arab country. Just to say, to defend the Israeli purpose or the Israeli business inside Syria, but also inside Iraq. They was behind the Kurd problem to declare their state inside the Iraq. And also they are implicated with some relation with some Gulf state, some Gulf kingdom, just to influence also their decision, their relation with Palestine, or supporting. It means supporting by business, by some influence worldwide, just to finalize Palestine, if I can say, right of being. Because now the problem of all you can see in the Middle East is how to finalize Palestine, or to put Palestine as emergent, not as center of the problem. Inside the media, inside diplomacy life, inside also the right of people to live. They change names of cities, of village, but also before few months, they start also with Lebanon. We have a lot of problems. One of our problem is in the border. They start to make a wall between Lebanon and Palestine. And we have the problem related with more than 19 points in the border between us. And now it's a part of negotiation we named as the blue line between the border, Lebanese border and Palestine border, because Israel also still occupy land from Lebanon. The other thing now, we are talking about the gas and oil in Middle East. Everybody hears that Egypt, they have the biggest gas in Middle East, resources under the water, and Lebanon also. But they take 800, more than 800 kilometers square in water. It means from the gas resources inside the Middle East. It's another problem. The same with the Palestine people, with the Palestine authorities. They have a lot of problem related with also, because the Israeli, they are taking the gas and oil not from the sea, but from inside, from near to Gaza, and near to West Bank. From 94, they have investment with the British Petroleum, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the biggest problem. So they profit, they get the money, but nobody care about people. For that, if you hear that there is a crisis now in Middle East related with the uprising or the Arab Spring, yes, maybe there is some problem related to the political life, but you have to know that this political life inside the Arab country, it's also influenced by the big power, the American. If we return to Egypt, the President Hosni Mubarak was under influence by the American. And if we return before, the agreement made by maybe the President of Egypt and the Israeli for peace, it was good for Egypt to have peace, but it wasn't peace. It was under peace just to put Egypt under the Israeli influence or the West influence, because Egypt and Syria was the biggest supporter of Palestine. It means everybody was cooperating together to finalize the center of the problem, Palestine. This is, if I can say, the main problem now in Middle East. The second problem is the financing of terrorism, just to say that the Islam is terrorism, or what we hear that Islamophobia. But in reality, terrorism, you can hear every week attack inside universities in the US. Hundreds of people kills per month of student. It means what? A lot of problems inside all the cities everywhere in the West, from Europe to the US to Australia, but all the time they say it's Islam. But if we look inside, maybe there is a problem, but we can solve this problem without using Islam as a problem, because in negotiation and dialogue, we can solve all this problem. For that, it's so important. Now, the proposition for the Astana process to solve the crisis in Syria, not the war, not the civil war, because I hear a lot. And also, before a few days, I was reading an article to a journalist in Kazakhstan. He was saying civil war in Syria. Okay, maybe this is information. And we know that a part of this problem in Middle East is the information, manipulation of information. Who control the information? So as analysts, as study center in Lebanon, we are working on the Middle East topic. The big important things to have a good analyst to finalize or to put an abstract or to have a conclusion about a problem is how to bring the information and translate this information as a data. It means as a real value, not to keep it as just information without reference. Because everybody say, we hear that something happened. You hear, but who is the reference? So as academic, as a researcher, as analyst, we have to focus on reference. More we search for real information, it means real data, more you get a real resolution, a conclusion. For that, the principle to solve the problem start with information. Who control the information? Who control Google? Who control the media? Control the crisis. Plus, if you look to the West after 1945, it means the Second War, we can see that all the crises in the world, it's like a management of crisis. It's not resolution of crisis. We have to finalize crisis, not to put crisis as to freeze. Just if we need to use it after maybe 20, 25 years, we return to use this crisis. No, because we cannot use people for business. Because now with the capitalism, they are trying to use people as numbers just for business, just to get money. You can get money, but without using the mind or the mind control, or to control people just for your benefits. This is why we need technology, but we don't need to make people as a robot. So it's so important to use our reflection, to search for the information, to get this information, to have analysts, and to cross analysts. Because if you search from one source as a study center, we cannot have a good analyst if we focus on one source. So as a student, as a researcher, as analyst, maybe more than 12 years I work as analyst, as maker of policy. We make policy. It means to make policy, we need information, real information, and to move from information to data, and also to counter the mind control inside the media, and now inside the electronic media. So the proposition, as I see, to return to the Syrian crisis, the Asatana process, 8 panels till now in 1 year, it was good, because with these meetings we start to talk about maybe ceasefire in some place, maybe the idea of talks between Turkey, Iran, Russia. It was good. But till now, if you see what happened before few days after the attack of French, British, and the US, it was a part or after the meeting held in Ankara between 3 presidents. So 3 presidents meet to search for reconciliation, peace process, dialogue, and 3 other presidents search to make the attack just to say we don't want reconciliation in Syria. We need to still using Syria as a panel, like Iraq, like Libya now, or like Yemen, just because war, it's a kind of business for them. When they make their attack in 1 day, the price of oil was up $10 in 1 day. It means it's a business. The crisis now, also the complication of the crisis of what you can see in Syria, you can see also in Gulf between the GCC partners, Gulf Council, between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, between Emirates and Qatar. Everybody say it's related with the behaviors, with their participation. But also we have to know it was also related with the complication of their business in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq. They cover it by maybe that Qatar, it's a pro-Muslim brotherhood, and Saudi is a Wahhabist. So this is the problem of them. No, it's a cover. It's a cover of business between them. But both of them, Qatar, still number one for the US, military, diplomacy, and also investment. And Saudi, still number one for the US. So they are not good between Qatar. So if I can say it in a different way, the problem between Qatar and Saudi Arabia, it can be managed. It's just a question. It can be managed by the US, who profit from both of them. And behind this, they profit from all the crisis in Middle East. I keep it as a question. And I finish my speech by this question, just to say, with this question, you can have answer for all the crises in Syria, in Iraq, and also in all the countries all over the world. Thank you. I'm ready for question. I prefer question, as I say before.
دكتور أشرف.
Если позволите, я на арабском задам вопрос, потом я на русский переведу. دكتور عماد، شكرا لحضرتك على العرض طيب، على التحليل الدقيق والخبرة الكبيرة اللي حضرتك شاركتنا بيها الآن، واستعراضك لكل القضايا أو محور القضايا أو محور المشاكل في منطقتنا العربية. أشكر أيضا السادة الضيوف لتشريفهم، أهلا بحضراتكم في أستانا. وسؤالي أو هو أكثر من سؤال، إذا سمحت حضرتك تطرقت إلى موضوع وسائل الإعلام وامتلاك المعلومات وأهميتها في التحليل. ما رأيك في ما يقوم به الإعلام العربي من تسطيح للفكر العربي، من تشويه للفكر العربي؟ وحضرتك كمتابع للإعلام العربي المختلف دائما يتم تصوير الأزمة السورية كما حضرتك ذكرت أنها حرب أهلية، حرب بين الشعب والنظام، ولا أحد في الإعلام العربي يشير إلى الدول المتورطة في هذا الصراع. إذا كان في الإعلام العربي دائما يصفون بشار الأسد بأنه مجرم حرب، بأنه دموي، بأنه دكتاتور سفاح وما إلى ذلك من الأوصاف التي يستخدمها الإعلام العربي، هذا ممكن نتفق في ذلك بعض الشيء، لكن لا أحد يتحدث عن السفاحين الآخرين، لا أحد يتحدث عن الجناه الآخرين في هذه الجريمة، لا أحد يتحدث عن المجرمين الذين شاركوا في تحويل المسار كنا انتفاضة والثورة، مسار المطالب الشعبية السورية إلى ما هي عليه الآن. وحتى تعلم من هم الجناه وكلنا نعلمهم كعرب وكمتابعين، لكن لا أحد يتحدث ولا أحد يريد أن يسمي هذه الدول بأسمائها. الكل يعرف لمصلحة من تعمل هذه أو تلك الجماعة في سوريا، من الدولة التي تمول وما الأسلحة، وكل هذا من أجل ماذا؟ من أجل المنافسة، من أجل المصالح، من أجل أن ينصب العالم الغربي الدولة التي حضرتك تعلمها زعيمة للعالم العربي والإسلامي، مثل ما فعل. يعني التاريخ يعيد نفسه حضرتك. إذا كان شريف مكة الشريف حسين قد تورط في الثورة العربية الكبرى في 1916 وما بعد ذلك 1920 وأدى ذلك إلى سايكس بيكو، فنحن الآن تقريبا أحفاد الشريف حسين يكررون الكرة، وكل هذا من أجل منافسة ما بين إيران والسعودية، من أجل هذه المنافسة ومن أجل الزعامة المطلقة على أشلاء سوريا، أشلاء الشعب السوري، الشعب اليمني، وخراب ليبيا. فما رأي حضرتك فيما يحدث في إعلامنا العربي ومحاولة تشويه وتسطيح الفكر العربي؟ السؤال التالي حضرتك إذا سمحت، بالأول أمس كان اجتماع القمة العربية في الزهران بالسعودية، ما دلالة عدم تضمين جدول الأعمال أو حتى البيان الختامي للقمة العربية العدوان حتى يعني مهما كان الجدل الدائر حول هل تم استخدام السلاح الكيماوي أو لم يتم، في النهاية سوريا تقع في قلب العالم العربي وهي البوابة الشمالية للعالم العربي. سوريا لا تقع في أمريكا اللاتينية، فكيف يمكن لزعماء 24 بلد عربي مجتمعين ألا يتحدثوا عن هذا العدوان ولو حتى بكلمة واحدة؟ ما دلالة ذلك؟ شكرا. ولو سمحت أعيد بعض السؤال باللغة الروسية لكي يفهم الحضور. Два вопроса я задам нашему уважаемому гостю. Первый вопрос. В ходе презентации, в ходе разговора господин Мадреск затронул деятельность или работу СМИ. И что мы должны обладать информацией, достоверной информацией, чтобы делать достоверный анализ и знать происхождение всех проблем. И мой первый вопрос был о том, как он смотрит на работу арабских СМИ, особенно те СМИ, которые манипулируют общественным сознанием в арабском мире и постоянно осуждают деятельность президента Сирии Башара Асад, и ни одного слова не говорят о других участниках этого конфликта. Участники, в том числе вооруженные группировки, в том числе и те страны, которые финансируют и спонсируют эти организации, которые там воюют против режима Башара Асад. Все говорят, что Башар Асад преступник, кровавый, диктатор, и разные названия называют его. Но никто об этом не говорит на одного слова против или в отношении тех стран, которые спонсируют, которые финансируют террористические организации в Сирии. Как он на это смотрит именно в таком парадоксе? Второй вопрос был о том, что позавчера проводился в городе Захран, Саудовской Аравии, саммит Лиги арабских государств. Это было позавчера. Но, к сожалению, повестку дня этого саммита и в итоговом документе этого саммита не было ни одного слова про последнюю трехстороннюю агрессию против Сирии. Не упомянули, не говорили, не затронули никаким образом эту агрессию. Как будто Сирия – это не арабская страна, как будто Сирия находится в Латинской Америке, а не в сердце арабского мира. Это был мой второй вопрос, как он смотрит на это и о чем это свидетельствует. Спасибо.
Вот он спрашивает, каждый вопрос он отвечает или слушает все вопросы? Наверное, يكون افضل كل سؤال لحاله حتى ما يصير في لخبطه. Сколько времени? Сколько времени ваше? Мы не видим пока.
Okay. First, the question related to the media. We have to be honest also that in the Arab country, we have a good newspaper, we have a good journalist, but all this information, like if you can see in the Emirate, they have a lot of newspaper, and every day the newspaper is like a book. But the quality of this information, it means the value of what we need. All this information, if this information is not focused on one topic, it means it's spread information. Nobody can control it. But also, if you look who managed this information, because with every publication or every finance of publication, there is a policy, there is a purpose. Who is financing a newspaper or a review or a book? Behind this financing, there is a purpose. It means everybody has his own policy, but there is no management. This is why you can see a lot of information in the Arab world, but without influence. Or who made the influence now, like on TV. If you are supporting this acts, it means, because now in the Middle East, to be honest, there is two acts. The first is against the US policy in the Middle East. Somebody say it's related with the resistance acts. Somebody say it's Iran behind this acts. And now with the implication of direct military implication of Russian inside Syria. Everybody say no, Russian, Iranian, and in Lebanon Hezbollah. So it's a kind of acts, but in reality it's a manipulation of this information related to this acts. And the other side, who is working under the US policy. But also, to be honest, it's true. When we talk about NATO, if you are under NATO, you have to work under the policy of NATO. This is one. If you are in GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, you have to work under the policy of this council. But also, last few years, it was some cooperation between the GCC and the Jordan. And it was between GCC and the Morocco. It means we are talking about North Africa, the end of North Africa. In a way, if you join the two parallel line, it means the NATO who is arriving till Turkey, and the other line who is starting from Morocco till Gulf state. We have some line, vertical line, who joined this two parallel line. We have Iraq, who is joined through Jordan till Turkey. And Iraq now is under, to be honest, under the US policy. The second line now in Syria, when you hear in media that in Tanaf, in South Syria and in North Syria, in Tanaf, there is a US British base, and also in North Syria, you have also now a base of American inside Raqqa, inside the north region of Syria. So day after day, their influence starts to be more and more. It means who is managing all the information inside this era? The American. But on the other side, to be honest, they are talking about an axe, the Russian, Iranian, Hezbollah axe. But in reality, this axe never managed the media, never managed the information. Because the RT, if we have to be honest and to talk open, the RT, they make meetings with the Iranian media and with Hezbollah, if I can say Hezbollah media, just to say, okay, you publish this, you don't publish this. Never. But under the American, they have some influence. They have related with all the media, newspaper, journalists. There is behind study center, and behind study center, financing, and behind financing, there is the policy. So, to be honest, the think tanks in the Arab country, the research center in the Arab country, who is under the US policy, they manage all the information, all the media. They manage everything. But behind them, the intelligence service of the West, who make the mind control, who manipulate the media, or who focus on media. We have just as an example on the media. If you make an interview or you publish any information, if you want to search this information, where you have to search where? In Google. It means the data. Who is controlling the data? This is why the most important things now in the US is how to control data. The cloud of information. This is number one. For that, you have a lot of information, but not under control, not managed. This is, if I can say, the answer. Okay. The second one, we talk about what happened in Zahran in Saudi Arabia related to the Arab Council. Look, what happened, just to talk before the Arab uprising or the Arab Spring. What happened in Sudan? You remember? It was divided in two countries, but nothing happened. South Sudan and Sudan. And maybe it will be more divided. Who knows? It was before the Arab Spring, few months. Because after this, it was some, let's say, demonstrations start in Tunis, after in Egypt. And I remember, just to tell you something that I still remember till now, the CNN, when it was the demonstration in Egypt, the first week they published a small icon. This demonstration in Yemen, this demonstration in Egypt, this demonstration in Tunis. And they say, and with this demonstration in Egypt, the Lotus Revolution. For 1 week, they published this. After this week, they canceled, and they are talking about other things. It means what? It means everything was under control. And also, just to join the problem of what happened last week with the meeting of the Arab countries, and also with the information. If you want to get or to improve your study or your research, you say, I bring this information from Brookings, from Washington, from Reuters, from AFP, from AP, yes or no? It means to be credible, you search these agencies or this study center or these universities. But in reality, no. It means just we translate their idea to say, this is our idea. But in reality, it's not our idea. Their idea translated, and it's a kind of, we make the mind control through this line, through this influence. This is why you cannot hear anything related to what happened in Syria, the attack, or anything. And as in Egypt also, you have a lot of problems, but nobody focus on them. And I just tell you, look, 7 years before, when it was the media focusing on Libya, nobody was focusing on Syria. When they move the media to Syria, you never hear something about Libya. But the war in Libya still, every day, everything is destroyed in Libya. Because all the people in Libya, they live before, when it was Muammar al-Gaddafi, without problem. You never see a Libyan outside Libya because they have money. They get money from gas and oil, and the president gives them money for all the people to live without problem. But now, they are not. It means what? It's manipulation. So this is the big problem, I think. Yes.
Stand? No need to stand. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for your knowledgeable and very interesting presentations. There are several questions rather in my mind about this, though I'm not the expert of Middle East. Still, what is happening there is, we already knew that is not a new phenomena, that there are several interests going on in especially in Syria. Either it is the West, or even Russia, or even other religious extremist groups. And this is also a known fact that what West is doing. And we are here to listen more about what government is doing, what Assad is doing. We knew that what West is doing, what America is doing, what America has done in last 3 days. But problem is that on the one hand, you are saying that all three countries like Britain, France, and America done these things, and they control everything. What you are calling about the knowledge. On the other hand, they are crying that Russia is spying on us, and they are manipulating their elections in America. So what is the right things? Either we have to listen. Russia is spying on America, or America is controlling the knowledge, or ultimately who is controlling the knowledge? So this is up to us. This is a very subjective understanding of what we are talking about. But still, we want to know that what is the people's view? What is the view of the Syrian peoples? What they think about that? It is not about that they are killing only because of West attack. Before the West attack, they were killing by the religious extremist groups, by several other reasons. What are their reasons? Why they were killing before their attacks? Because we every day heard that there were people who are suffering. So we want to know that what are their voices? You can present the voice of government of Assad, but we want to know what peoples are thinking, what's there in mind, why they were killing about them, and what's their thinking on all these issues. Because they don't know whose interest is their lives, but they knew about their own life, why we are losing our life. This is my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to tell you, every month I pass to Syria. I know the opposition, and I know very well the regime system. I know the system and the persons. And I know the opposition, and they know me very well. And I will tell you something, maybe the first time I say it. When the demonstrations start in Syria, who tell me this information is a leader in the opposition. He say, I was related with an intelligence service inside the regime, and we have some problem. And one of this official person tell them to make a demonstration like what happened in Egypt and Tunis. And they go to make the demonstration to talk about we need freedom. And he say we was 300 person. It was like that. But after, it was under the regional power or the big power influence. It means it was manipulated. It start. I'm not talking about what happened in Daraa. It means if we study the situation, because if you know Syria, before 45 years till now, the same. Yes, nobody can talk about politics, but all the people live without problems. It means if we return to Lebanon, everybody talk about politics, but we are not happy. To be honest, we live very well. We have the system, the capitalism system. Our neighbor Syrian, they live as not capitalism, but also we are under $75 billion. But Syria was under zero, without any problem of inside the economy of debt. The dollar, $1 equal 50 or 52 Syrian lira. In Lebanon, $1 equal 1,500. This is Syria before the demonstration, or what you can see now inside Syria, a war. Now, $1 in Syria is 425 lira. It means 10 times. It means the war against Syria, it's not a war in Syria. It's against Syria. Just to make Syria under debt related with the dollar. You are talking about when this demonstration start. To be honest, I tell you all as I know. Just why? Because we are searching to make to finalize the problem, to talk about reconciliation. Maybe there is a problem related of development, related of corruption, but everywhere you have this problem. And you don't need to destroy your country or to let anyone to invest to destroy a country just to reconstruct or to have a resolution for this corruption system. No. Now, before, when the war started against Aleppo, the second city in Syria, or the first as a capital, economic capital, okay, with 2,000, it means manufacturers. They have production, they have everything that they need inside Syria. They don't need anything from outside. The war started to destroy this infrastructure. And now they bring everything from outside. So maybe President Bashar al-Assad, he is not good. Okay. We can talk. It means if I'm Syrian, why I have to make demonstration to destroy my country just because I'm against this president? No. There is a lot of method of if I can say a way to discuss. Organization, study center, media. If you cannot inside, you can go outside and publish and talk. You can be as an opposition outside, like everywhere in the world. So I'm not saying if President Bashar al-Assad is good or not good. I'm not here to say that. But there is a way, not war. Nobody will benefit from war. Believe me, nobody. Also the American, when they go to Korea, to Vietnam, to Cambodia, they destroy countries with zero. What they get? Nothing. Now, Vietnam is uprising. It means there is a potential in Asia. There is a potential in these countries. This is why it was the war before. Because there is a potential. Where there is a potential or there is a power uprising to be on the same level or to be behind the US power. This is why they can make anything just to say to you, no, you cannot be number one. You cannot be near to our power. You have just to be under, to use our system. You cannot have your system. This is why I was telling everybody about Iraq. What you are doing? Democracy for Iraq? Freedom for Iraq? Look, last month, before 2 months, I was in Iraq, in Baghdad. I visit Baghdad, Karbala, Najaf. It's not a life there, believe me. Also now they have election, but with this election, nobody can do anything. Because everything, when you enter to any minister, the US, they have to check you. You have to present your passport to the US to say yes or no. When you arrive to Baghdad airport, there is a private British company who check you. Where is Iraq? It's under who? So we cannot talk. I'm saying this because we have to do something. For that, I believe that like Kazakhstan, like the panels that we can push from this republic from Astana to have as a role in dialogue between culture, civilization, to manage crisis, just to arrive to a moment to finalize this crisis. Because with dialogue, we can arrive to finalize the crisis. Thank you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا على المحاضرة. وأنا طالبة من سنة رابعة، اسمي نازم، وعندي سؤال. أنا لا أذكر العالم بدون الحرب فيه. ومثلا سنقول الآن عن العالم العربي، وسنبدأ من ديسمبر 2010 عندما بدأ الحرب، يعني الربيع العربي في تونس، ونقل إلى ليبيا، إلى مصر، ويعني حتى اليمن تستمر في سوريا. ونحن نعرف عن عدم الاستقرار في العراق. وعندي سؤال، أي بلد، يعني أي نقطة تالية حيث ستكون الحرب فيه؟ كيف تظن؟ في أي نقطة سنقله؟
Thank you for this question. The war is coming to Central Asia. Afghanistan will be the center. Because if you hear all this information published by the US, they are moving the extremism from Iraq and Syria to Afghanistan. And they was talking about the Khorasan. Look to Khorasan. From when the Americans start bombing or they make the coalition against terrorism inside Syria, they say it's an organization under the name of Khorasan. We have to destroy, because Khorasan organization, it can be big problem for our national security. And after they make some attack and they say, we destroy this organization. It means with some attack, they are safe. Who is behind this? And where is these people? And you know that Khorasan, it's a part of Iran, and also it's a part of Afghanistan. Just I tell you this information, you have searched on it. Study it, and you will search what I'm telling you. After 5 years, it will happen. They will start, because Iran, it can't be under the US policy. So they have to make problems. Now they are trying to use the missile. It means after nuclear, the next problem for Iran, it's missile. For that, they focus on the missile coming from Yemen to Riyadh, the missile coming from Hezbollah against Israel, the missile coming, or the potential of missile in Syria. And now they are pushing Syria to make a war against Israel, just to say, because you will use this missile, it's an Iranian missile, and we need the international community to talk about the treat that Iran made to the countries. So they have to focus on something to cut the road between China, India, Russia, Iran, to destroy, let's say, the Shanghai Coalition, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or to put this cooperation under stress. This is why, if you study the Central Asia, you find that the infrastructure of, or the manipulation of this information in this region start to be good for them. And if you, just to tell you, if you remember, in 2002, it was the Bali explosive in Jakarta, in Indonesia. And I remember that the Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld was on Minister of Defense of the US. he visit Bali and he say, the war against terrorism here don't start now. But it was explosive. But they don't need it now. Okay? Look, I will tell you something. Collect all the information now.
Okay.
Look, after 5 years, your information now, it will be used after 5 years. But because you cannot, or we are not collecting information to invest this information, we forget. This is why they are using this information, but through time. More the time is big, more the information is weak. So you forget it. But they still use it. But they say everything is open. Because inside all the intelligence service around the world, and especially American, everything is open. But you have to search on it to get it. 80% of information is open.
شكرا. السلام عليكم ضيوف الكرام وسعادة سفير دولة فلسطين لدى جمهورية كازاخستان منتصر أبو زيد ومدير عام لمركز البحوث اللبناني إيماد رزق وكل وفد اللبناني. نشكركم جاي لهذه المحاضرة جميلة جدا ومفيدة. وأريد أن أضيف بعض المعلومات كي أنا ممثلة من شباب معاصرة عشان الآن كل الشباب يعرف كيف يوجد الآن في العالم الحرب والإعلان. وبهذا السبب كثيرا من الشباب يفهمون كل أسباب التي تسبب للحروب في منطقة الشرق الأوسط وكل يعني من تلعب في هذه المنطقة. يعني عشان الشباب الآن يعني ممتاز جدا في التحليل وفي تفسير المعلومات. ولا يوجد يعني يوجد كثير من الشباب في كازاخستان التي لم تصدق لجوجل عشان كما قلتم نحن دائما نبحث لمعلومات صحيحة. وبهذا السبب أنا أريد أن أدافع عشان دور المراكز للبحوث كبيرة جدا في تنظيم العقل والشباب. وأريد أن أدافع كي المراكز كالاستشارية لازم أن تنظيم محاضرة كذلك دائما من الضروري عشان انتشار معلومات صحيحة للشباب. والسؤال التالي يعني قبل أسبوعين في 9 أبريل من هذا العام أعلن نائب الوزير الدفاع طلعت مختارف وكازاخستان يعني من جمهورية كازاخستان، وهو قال أن جهة كازاخستان سترسل 120 عسكريين لمهمة حفظ السلام في لبنان. والسؤال في أي منطقة بالتحديد سترسل جهة كازاخستان العسكريين عشان هذا العسكريين كازاخستانيين وهل يوجد المعلومات صحيحة؟ وأنا مرة ثانية أريد أن أقول أن في هذا العصر صعب جدا تفسير المعلومات لأن كل الإعلانات يعني انعكست فقط مصالح حكومة ليست مصالح الشعب. يعني مشكلة الآن كثير من الخبراء انعكس مصالح الحكومة. وبهذا السبب أنا شكرا جميلا شكرا.
I'm so proud. And sorry, you speak very well the Arabic language, and I can't speak your language. Sorry. Sure. I will talk about, you talk about that you are not searching, or you search not from Google, you try to search from different sources. It's so important. But sometimes you need the open sources. This is why before the study center, they have the documentation. They search the information they collect from book. And I know as academic also, in the university now they start before we focus on study. It means when you have research, we spend all our days searching, writing. But now, if we spend 2 hours, continuous hour, we say, oh, we spend a lot of time. We need to refresh. Huh? So this is now one of the problem, that our mind is disturbed with different things. Technology, some say that technology is not good, but some others say, no, it's good. The problem is to manage. The problem with anything, if anything you use a lot, it means the problem is management. So just to say, I'm not against Google. We can profit from Google. It means as a center who collect the information, you can profit from it, but you have to cross the information from Google, from books, from studies, from different sources. This is the way, if I can say, to get the real information, to study it, to analyze. This is one. Related to the Kazakh army. I don't have real information, but I can tell you that in Lebanon, we have the only problem of Lebanon is with Israel. So the Kazakh, if they will be in Lebanon, they will be under the United Nations, UNIFIL. We have the UNIFIL. It means we have Chinese, we have from France, from Brazil, from Germany, Africa. So they will be under the international community, and they will be very happy in Lebanon, believe me. But if they have a problem, it will not be from Lebanese. It will be from Israel. Because I remember in 2006, Ghana, and also the Chinese army, the Israeli bombed their position. It was 4 Chinese killed because of Israel. It's not because of Lebanon. We are a peace people. But also you have to know that our visit here, we hope it will be another and another and another for the profit of Kazakhstan and for the profit of Lebanon, because also Lebanon is searching countries like Kazakhstan, because we love peace, we work for peace, for dialogue, and as we say in Lebanon, we are like a hub in Middle East. And I think that Kazakhstan can, or now is playing a good role of balance. Okay, you have 2 big power near Kazakhstan, China and Russia, and all the big power in the world, they are searching Kazakhstan. Just you know that, but I say it. Okay, so with your president, you have a great president. I'm not saying this because I'm in Kazakhstan. He can manage everything smooth to get the profit for you, for the people of Kazakhstan. So with this big land, you have a big opportunities. You have big resources, but if you have resources without management, it will be devil. So this is, if I can say, what we need together between Lebanon, if I can say as a Lebanese, from Middle East, from the Arab country, with Kazakhstan. Okay.
There is no questions. I would like, first of all, to thank Dr. Ahmad for his excellent presentation. Really, I am as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the State of Palestine to the Republic of Kazakhstan. I agree with his lecture 100%. I would like to add one thing. For all of you are the students of international relations. Really, in this case, unfortunately, the international relations and international law under danger. I remember the aggression against Egypt, 1956, from also 3 countries. Israel, America is the same, plus United Kingdom, plus France, 1956, without any reasons, without UN resolutions, without Security Council resolutions. Today, or a few days ago, we are in 2018, the same thing as Mr. Ahmad said. America, new aggression against Syria. America, Israel is the same. United Kingdom and France. The France and the United Kingdom who made Sykes-Picot agreement to give present between each other, take Syria, Lebanon, I take Jordan and Palestine. It's their lands, it's their countries. We were all of us Bilad al-Sham. So in this case, unfortunately, if 3 big countries and they are member of security councils, they are attacking country without permission of United Nations, without approval from their parliament, it means the international relations and international law under the danger. 30 of March, when in Gaza, the Palestinian people they decided to go peace demonstration. The Israeli forces bombed them in heavy weapons. They killed hundreds and 1,500 were injured. How can bomb the people? Peace demonstration. They are under occupation. So I'm sorry to say it's shame for international community that they cannot defend their decisions. When 128 countries, including Kazakhstan, refuse the Trump declaration concerning Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It's against the international law. The Security Council Resolution number 242 withdraw all Israeli forces from all the territories who occupied 1967, including Jerusalem. 242, even the United States vote for it. It's against the international law. It's against human rights. It's against everything. So they attack Syria because between brackets they have they use chemical weapons. Wait the investigation committee to come. They didn't arrive. The investigation committee. And there is no how now the people in all the world will believe Security Council to sit to decide on behalf of all of us, on behalf of all the countries. I agree what he said, President Nursultan Nazarbayev 2 days ago. We don't need American democracy. We have our democracy. We have our tradition. We respect ourselves. We are Kazakh. We are not Europeans or Americans. We agree with him, and he was quite right. Concerning Arab Spring, which kind of Arab Spring? Condoleezza Rice, what she said, Arab world needs الفوضى الخلاقة, how it can be in English. الفوضى الخلاقة, it means يعني upside down. Yeah. So start in Tunis, start in they damaged Syria, they damaged under the name of Arabic Spring, they damaged Libya, they damaged Yemen, they damaged Iraq. So it is organized. That's is very clever. President said we don't need American democracy. We have our democracy. We respect human rights and etc. And all the countries say like this. Again, we return. When 128 countries refused Trump declaration as recognize the Israel, Jerusalem as capital of Israel, and only 9 countries against, including the United States and Israel. Okay, we believe with democracy. Let us see. 9 countries must and should respect the decisions of 128 countries. We need implementation for this. The same thing, 29 of November 2012, 138 countries, including Kazakhstan, vote to recognize the state of Palestine as the member observer of the United Nations. So we need implementation of this. When the ambassador, U.S. ambassador Miss or Mrs. I don't know, Nikki, before the time of the voting, look, don't vote for against the declaration of Trump. I will cut the support. I will show you. I'll inform my President Trump. He will do many things against your countries. Which kind of democracy? This is really, it's this behavior. It's out of diplomacy. The more dangerous that if those countries was member of Security Council will continue this policy, it's really the international law under danger, and they are using another law. It's called the law of the forest, which the stronger animal give himself right to kill and eat small animal. That's what's happening in Palestine. We have more than 550 Security Council resolutions, no implementation. And why they don't ask about chemical arm weapons in Israel? Not only chemical, ядерные оружие. The victory of Daimona. We are under danger now, our people, because like Chernobyl in Ukraine, radiation is going from Daimona victory because of the bad service, by the way. They are giving medicine to their people against the radiation, and they are refused to give our people medicine. They have special medicine for this. It's racism also. They are killing Palestinian people step by step with this council and different things and etc. So what can I say now? Of course, 2 days ago we had discussion, friendly discussion with our friend, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Mr. Khairat Abdurrahmanov. He invited all the ambassadors outside on the occasion of Nairobi, and we said, Kazakhstan member of Security Council, and really they are playing very positive role, implementation of peace in the world, and always the representative of Kazakhstan in Security Council. He is doing his best just for peace, for justice in all the world, including Middle East. My dears, you are the future political decision makers. You have to know the truth. And really, your level is very good. Any information we give you, you can check, cross information, it's right or not. When I had here many lectures, when I give you on resolutions, numbers, dates, you check. We give only right informations. As my colleague Dr. Ahmad said, we are struggling for peace. We are struggling for justice. We are ready for negotiations always. But I can see one thing, Shimon Peres, what he said ex-president of Israel, inside Knesset. It was a closed session, but we have Palestinians, 6 or 7 members of Knesset informed us, and we have enough talk, stop talk about terror. We have to learn the reasons of terror. And all of you, not all of you, you in Knesset, all of you know that the reasons of terror, it's Israeli occupation, and we cannot occupy Palestinian people forever. Of course, the majority of Likud were against him. So some of them, they know that Israel in wrong way. Occupation since 1948. Before 1948, it was no state of Israel. State of Israel became after Balfour Promise. Who is Balfour? He was ex-minister of foreign affairs of United Kingdom. He promised Herzl, the chief of Israeli community abroad or wherever, to give them present homeland, present. It's also against international law. Why he didn't give him in United Kingdom land, Manchester, to build the state of Israel? Then they decided to establish state of Israel in Palestinian territory. Because of peace, our Palestine National Council in Algeria, at that time I was member observer, we accept to have a Palestinian state in 22% from all Palestinian territory. Gaza Strip and West Bank, it is 22% from all territories. And they refused. And they built wall inside West Bank, which occupied more than 20%. And they are building settlements inside West Bank. And there is Security Council resolutions, the end of 2016. It was no veto from America on the time of Barack Obama, that all settlements, it's illegal. They should remove. No implementation. It means why United Nations to continue the work? I'm sorry to say that. No need to discuss another question. Our discussion about Syria, we forgot about Palestine. Occupation is normal thing. Now the same thing is, and it was discussion between us and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Israel now, write application, they are requesting to be member of Security Council. It's shame for international community to accept this application. They are asking to be Israel as member of Security Council.
As a permanent one?
No, not permanent, as temporary. Okay. For example, permanent is five countries, like Kazakhstan. Now, for 2 years, Kazakhstan, 2017 and 2018. Now, the end of 2018, replace some countries. Israel, they asked to be member of Security Council, like Germany, like big countries. So what I say at the end, I don't like to occupy your time. From time to time, I promise to come to give lectures, as always. It's good for the students, especially who are learning international law and international relations. So at the end, I would like to say, as my colleague, Dr. Ahmad said, we are not only Lebanese people, Syrian people, and Palestinian people, and all the Arab world, and Egyptian, of course. We are struggling for peace, for justice, to live together. But in justice, comprehensive peace. The last thing I said, in Beirut, 2002, all the Arab leaders decided to have comprehensive peace. And it was proposal from ex-King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz to have full diplomatic relations with Israel in condition. Implementation of UN resolution to have full Palestinian state, withdraw all Israeli forces from all the Arab countries, from Lebanese territory, Syrian territory, Palestinian territory, and to have comprehensive peace. But unfortunately, Israel refused. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for continuing.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And some final remarks by the member of the administration of Eurasia National University, Consul to Rector, Dr. Professor Talal Awad.
I want myself to thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad, for this very
interesting lecture. I think that all of us in Eurasian University, professors, students, have a lot of benefits, a lot of good information from your lecture. So on behalf of Eurasian University, thank you very much. Second, I want to say for stop on some positive points. I want to say that there is a positive point from last American British French attack to our country, to Syria. This positive point that now it's clear for everybody that it is proxy war, as you said. Before that, when we discussed a Syrian crisis, and when we speak about that it is a proxy war, not all of people was agreed with this point. A lot of them, they speak that it is civil war, and the next question was, what do you think who is in right side? So it is a positive thing, I think. To finish on positive also, I want to ask you, Dr. Imad, do you think that there is a light after this dark tunnel in Syrian crisis? Do you think that there is a light after this dark tunnel? And what do you think? How many will you have to wait to see it? Thank you.
Okay, first, thank you of everything, of this preparation. And I just remember to what I have say about Google, just to say that we was broadcasting online on Google. So it's also, so we can profit from them. It's no problem. The second, about Syria. Look, to be honest, when the crisis started in Syria, from the first day, I was on TV, on Syrian TV, and I was honest. I say, this war, the American prepared for this war from maybe 48 years, not from now. Because if you remember, and everybody knows, that it was the Baghdad coalition in 1958. And in this time, the American arrived their navy to Beirut. It was the operation, the blue I don't remember this. عم بتذكر الاسم. عم بتذكر So it was an operation, and it was discussed, and it was a real target, the region, Lebanon and Syria. And if you look to also to the policy of the Soviet in this time, and now to Russia, just to tell you, in 2008, the President Medvedev visited Syria, and before 2003, 2004, the President Bashar al-Assad visited Russia, and they have some discussion related to the future of Syria. In this time, the ex-Prime Minister of Lebanon, Rafiq Hariri, was killed in Beirut after this meeting in 2005, and Syria was accused. And it was also discussion till the time it was a visit from the International Committee. It was Melis, the judge Melis, who visited the President Bashar al-Assad for 8 hours just to interrogate him about his role, if he is behind killing the ex-Prime Minister of Lebanon. It means what? From this time, it was the preparation. After 2008, the Russians say, we will return to Tartus. And after, I remember, and who look also, you can use Google to remember. If you don't have information, the President Bashar al-Assad visit some state in the Middle Asia, and he was talking about the war of the 5C. And he said that Syria is in the middle of this war. And you know that when the American entered to Baghdad 2003, I remember in 2004, I write an article in newspaper talking about the target of this operation, and I say they enter Baghdad because they need Damascus. Because everybody knows the history. If you look to the history of the region, who arrived to Baghdad must take Damascus to control the region. This is the history. So the American, they are using the history, but they are very clever how they are using it. It means just they benefits from crisis to say, we are here just to solve the crisis. But they are here because they need the region, to control the region, to control the acts of the trade, of business, and everything. Before they are using Israel as a potential in the region, now they are direct involved in all the region, and they are spread it everywhere, as I say. For that, the base of the American inside Syria, it's to solve the problem or to complicate the problem. It's to complicate the problem. When they talk about the future of the Kurd inside Syria, and we was last week, we make a round table in Lebanon related to the future of Syria and related to the Kurd topic. Now the Kurd was preparing after the Kurdistan in Iraq, and now they are using the Kurdistan Syria inside all the media. It means after using this information in media, the Kurdistan Syria will be reality. This is the big problem, or the next big problem after direct war. It means the proxy will continue just to cut Syria in different, let's say, region, ethnic region or religious region. And it was a proposition also, and everybody have to know before the Asitana process, and it was proposition to President Bashar al-Assad, take your region and keep other region. Don't care about Syria, care about yourself. But the President Assad say, no, I'm the president of Syria. So if he say yes, you think that the problem was solved? No. It will be more complicated because they need to manage this complication, this conflict. For that, I think that this problem, it's not related directly to the Syrian, if I can say Syrian government or the people who live in Syria or surrounding Syria, but also it's a profit, or it's like a target for the American policy. More the American, they are doing everything and nobody say no, more the crisis will continue in Syria and all the region. But now we can talk about balance, because we have some indication that, yes, when I say they will move the war inside the Middle Asia because they are afraid from the potential of Asia. Before 2 years, we published a book in our center. We say the war in Asia, the next war in Asia, because the war is against Asia now. The potential of Asia is coming up. The US will not agree. So they will try anything from Middle East to the Chinese Sea till the center. So I don't know if I say it as optimist, maybe 10 years at least, because after direct war it will be the impact of the war, and after it will be the time for reconciliation, for development, for reconstruction, and it means, look, we have what happened in Lebanon 75 till 90, 15 years till now. we still have the same problem, but in a different way. Just to be optimist.
Very optimistic.
I would like to add, so all the things which explained Mr. Ahmad, he was quite right. A very fresh example. 2 months ago, Tony Blair, the ex-Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, declared in media, "I'm very sorry, apologize for British and American people. Myself and George Bush, too, we were big liars. Before to start war against Iraq, we were liars to our people, American people and British people, that we have to protect our people from weapons which has Saddam Hussein. But at that time, as he said, we know that he has nothing, but wanted to change the regime, to kill Saddam Hussein, and to keep Israel the more stronger in the region. This declaration should immediately, under investigation, he realized, and to court in international court, to put him in the prison, because he is responsible for thousands of Iraqi people, even American soldiers and British soldiers, which they died. They are responsible for this, because you gave excuse to your people that we start to war because so and so, and you are declaring now we were liars. Unfortunately, till now, nobody asked him to call him to the court. Unfortunately, it is also, I can say, this is shame for international community. Thank you.
I guess we can finalize, and I do believe it was very, very useful for our students. Like maybe hundreds of the lectures of the professor of the university who are here is not worth one session that we had today. It is brainstorming. It is the call for morality, and it is the new perspective for the new life. And I would like to note that today's session was the first in the chains of sessions we will have on Middle Eastern situation, because we do have to study. And here on the at the faculty, we have a center for the strategic studies of Central Asia, South Asia, and Middle East. So we will continue. Thank you very much.
Yes.